It was supposed to be the perfect family. My wife Sarah and I had been together for over 10 years. We had built a life full of dreams and promises. 2 kids, a house, and everything seemed right. But behind the scenes, everything was falling apart, and I had no idea. I remember when we first met, we were so in love. Or at least I thought we were. She was everything I ever wanted, beautiful, kind, and full of life. We had our fair share of ups and downs like any couple, but nothing that couldn't be fixed. At least that's what I told myself every time we hit a rough patch. But things began to change after our second child was born. Our marriage went through a rough phase, and Sarah seemed distant, often distracted. She'd be on her phone late at night texting, more than usual, or working late without a real explanation. I brushed it off as her trying to balance everything, motherhood, work, and everything in between. But something didn't sit right one day while Sarah was out with friends. I stumbled upon something. I wasn't prepared for her phone buzzed and a message popped up from a number I didn't recognize. It was a flirtatious message, followed by something even worse, a picture that shouldn't have been sent. I stared at the screen in disbelief, my heart sinking. This was the moment that everything changed. I confronted Sarah the next day, and after a long silence, she confessed. She told me everything about the affair, how it had been going on for almost a year. My world was shattered. The woman I trusted more than anything had betrayed me in the worst way imaginable. But what really made it worse were the lies she had told me about our children. You see, when I found out about the affair, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Our second child, Lily, didn't quite look like me, and I couldn't ignore the nagging doubts, anymore. Her eyes, the shape of her face, it just didn't add up at that point. I needed answers. I asked Sarah if there was any possibility that Lily wasn't mine, but she dismissed my concerns immediately. Of course she's yours, she said, but deep down, I wasn't convinced and needed to know the truth. So I insisted on a DNA test. Sarah wasn't happy about it, but I told her it was the only way to move forward. I had to know if the betrayal went deeper than just her affair. After a lot of back and forth, she agreed, but I could tell she wasn't thrilled about it. The results came in a few weeks later, and when I opened that envelope, I wish I could say I was prepared for what it contained. But I wasn't. The DNA test confirmed my worst fear. Lily wasn't mine. I felt numb, my heart dropped, and everything around me blurred. I had invested so much love into a child that wasn't mine. I had been her father in every sense of the word. Yeah, I wasn't her biological dad. All those sleepless nights, the birthday parties, the milestones, they meant nothing now. The mother of my children, the woman I trusted, had not only cheated on me, but lied about something as fundamental as paternity. I confronted Sarah again, and this time she didn't have any excuses. She admitted that the affair wasn't just a fling, it had been ongoing, and she had lied to cover up the truth. I was devastated, but I wasn't going to let this go. I had been wronged, and I had to make sure she understood the consequences of what she had done. The next day, I filed a lawsuit for paternity fraud. I knew it wasn't just about the child. It was about holding her accountable for the deceit, for the years of lies, and for betraying everything we had built together. This was no longer just about me being a father to a child who wasn't mine. It was about seeking justice for the hurt I felt, for the trust that was shattered, and for the future I had been robbed of. The court battle wasn't easy. It was emotionally draining. Sarah fought tooth and nail to avoid taking responsibility for her actions. She tried to make it seem like I was overreacting, that the kids still needed me, that I had no right to change anything, but I couldn't ignore the truth anymore. She had done this to me, to her children, and now she had to pay for it. As the case went on, I found myself questioning everything. How could I have been so blind? Why didn't I see the sign? Earlier, I spent countless nights lying awake, replaying everything over and over again in my head. The trust one had given her, the love I had poured into our family, all of it had been a lie. Eventually, the judge ruled in my favor. It wasn't just a victory in the eyes of the law. It was my chance to move on, to reclaim my life, and to show that I would not be manipulated or deceived any longer. I wasn't going to let Sarah's actions define me or destroy my future, but the aftermath was harder than I Imagine the damage had already been done. I had lost a part of myself in the process, and while I had won in court, the emotional scars would take much longer to heal. I'm sharing this story, not just to vent my anger or frustration, but to warn anyone who might be in a similar situation. Trust is fragile, and when it's broken, it can feel impossible to rebuild. But remember, you deserve honesty, respect, and love. Don't let anyone take that from you, no matter how hard the truth is to face. As for Sarah, our marriage ended, the legal battles, the emotional toll. It was too much to bear. I'm learning to rebuild my life, to move forward with the lessons I've learned, but the pain of betrayal is something that never truly goes away. Thank you for listening to my story. If you're going through something like this, know that you're not alone. It's painful, it's heartbreaking, but you can survive it. You can rebuild, you can find peace, and you will come out stronger on the other side. I hope you like my stories. Kindly comment and share your thoughts. Also press subscribe button for more attractive stories. Love you all.